Hey everyone, welcome back to Hazardous Opinions. Today, we'll be discussing and diving deep into Interstellar from 2014. A big way you guys can help us is by following us and giving us 5 stars wherever you get your podcasts. Also, reach out to us with anything movies at hazardousopinionspod@gmail.com or on socials like TikTok and Instagram at hazardousopinionspod, and chat with us on Discord. We really appreciate all of you and your support. Now, before we dive in, Andy, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I've been just taking a lot of time outside lately and got up practicing throwing knives lately.
Oh, no way. Okay, so we were just doing pickleball and now
Yeah,
you're into throwing knives. Okay.
yeah. My dad bought a couple sets, so we've been cut a hunk of tree out and just been throwing a lot in the day.
Oh, that's awesome. That's actually interesting. I like
Yeah.
that.
So
Yeah.
actually, like in the middle of Interstellar here, it was perfect being a 3 hour movie. I was almost halfway through, and I'm like, okay, gonna go
Need a
throw
little
some knives for an
break.
hour.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Have a little intermission, kind of like if they would have it at a theater, like go get your snacks, go, yeah, go pee. No, go
yep.
throw your
Go
knives.
throw some knives.
Yeah.
Come back to space exploration.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, yeah. Wow, you're really transported through that whole thing. Space, throwing knives,
Yep.
space. Yeah. Okay, nice. I would love to get like good at not axe throwing, but a tomahawk actually. Like
Mm,
tomahawk throwing.
yeah.
I've always found that like fascinating and I've wanted to kind of get into that,
Especially
especially
with
like going over to Laughing Sun and doing the
yeah,
axe throwing and stuff like
with how
that.
popular that is, you could be a really good party trick when you get in the middles all the time.
No, exactly. Yeah, like something to like spice up the hanging out, right? Yeah.
100%.
Like, hey, you guys want to see this? No, that's good to hear, man. Suppose.
Yeah,
Should we now dive into Interstellar?
yeah. Let's go exploring.
All right, guys. All right. Interstellar was released in 2014. It was directed by Christopher Nolan, written by Christopher and Jonathan Nolan, his brother, that's also worked on things like Westworld. That's especially top of mind for me. The cinematographer was Hoyt van Hoytema, that is about to team up with Nolan again for the Odyssey. Super excited for that project. He's also worked with Nolan on Dunkirk, Oppenheimer, and Tenet, and also did the cinematography for Her, Nope, Ad Astra, and Spectre.
Lost space.
A lot of space, a lot of space. And I mean, when you kind of like group those movies, you can kind of see the tones that Hoyt kind of likes to play with, honestly. Like, I kind of do see a correlation between all of them. The plot is in Earth's future, a global crop blight and second dust bowl are slowly rendering the planet uninhabitable. Professor Brand, played by Michael Caine, a brilliant NASA physicist, is working on plans to save mankind by transporting Earth's population to a new home via a wormhole. But first, Brand must send former NASA pilot Cooper, played by Matthew McConaughey, and a team of research through the wormhole and across the galaxy to find out which of the 3 planets could be mankind's new home. This stars Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway, Michael Caine, Jessica Chastain, Casey Affleck, Wes Bentley, Topher Grace, John Lithgow, and a young Timothy Chalamet.
Yep.
The IMDb rating on Interstellar is 8.7 out of 10, and the letterboxd rating is an average of 4.4 out of 5. Pretty high.
Yes. I think I was wrong. I think on the last pod I said in top 10, but I think it's 19th right now.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
had some people jump up there.
yeah. Oh, that's insane. Andy, though, what's your personal rating on Interstellar and what's your relationship to it?
Yeah, so I saw Interstellar pretty shortly after release. I don't think this was a theater watch for me, which it should have been. This would be amazing in IMAX. I fell in love with this film instantly. I am a big space nerd. I big fan of things like The Martian, like Ad Astra as you mentioned as well. It's really good. All the other space movies, First Man, always get me. And of course, Alien is one of my favorite movies of all time. So getting into the big concepts of sci-fi, mixing that with like an amazing cast with Hathaway and McConaughey, and then you got like the runtime to be able to do all this story work and have a good story thread that brings all of it together with Nolan's amazing expertise as a director. I just thought this was the perfect sci-fi film. I don't know if there's any better sci-fi films for me that are strictly sci-fi. So this one's a high for me. This would be probably 9.7. Like it's a really good movie.
Holy wow.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard you rate a movie that way.
I think Alien and Thing that we've covered are both tens, and they're like
Fair.
my only
Yes.
tens. This is very close to a perfect movie for me. There's just a few little story details that irk me. Mostly like the ending I'm not a fan of. But it pales in comparison to the stuff that Interstellar does right.
That works for you.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that score. That score. I'm going to touch on it a few
Uh-huh.
times in the notes, but it's really good.
Okay. Yeah, Hans is good at what he does. Hopefully all of us film fans know that already. I kind of meant in passing as well. I'm sorry. On pod, you have rated movies pretty high, but in passing, like, oh, how was this movie? How did you think of it? Like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
It's very rare that you find a new film that jumps that high.
Yeah, no,
Like,
for sure.
I think it's been a while since it passed the eights for a new film.
Yeah, definitely. And, I mean, 2014, yeah, pretty, a little more modern.
So yeah, what do you think?
I'll kind of just start out with my relationship to it. I definitely watched this with friends either in 2014 or very soon after, because I remember one of my buddies at the time knew I was a movie fanatic and took every opportunity to show me the movies I hadn't seen yet.
Mm-hmm.
We popped Interstellar on, and everyone was blown away, except for me, unfortunately. Not being a big fan of the Dark Knight trilogy and loving Inception, I didn't know what to make of Christopher Nolan at that time. At that age and my younger mind, I don't think I really grasped how film directors and their film catalogs really correlated or could look like. For example, I had no clue E.T. and Catch Me If You Can were both directed by Spielberg. Like at that time.
Yeah.
Now that I look at it, and those two films, like they really feel like Spielberg, both of them. When watching Nolan movies, I can see the identity there as well now. As it stands, he's kind of 50-50 for me, whether I really love his films or not. Love Oppenheimer and Inception, but I don't love Tenet and
agree with you there.
The Dark Knight Rises, or Batman Begins, and quite a bit of The Dark Knight, unfortunately. But we're not gonna get into that one right now. He's impressive to me, but his settings, his color palettes, the messaging and stories don't always reach me. For me, there's a difference between sci-fi drama space exploration and sci-fi horror or space operas like Star Wars. Horror and Star Wars will always intrigue me over space exploration for some reason. I don't find excitement in movies like Gravity, and I honestly still haven't checked that one out. My fascination with space only went as far as constellations and admiring the night sky when I can peer up at it, That's kind of where it stops. And space exploration can be thrilling given the circumstances, but for some reason, I find the thrills I'm looking for if that space exploration has a little flair to it, like a horror element or lightsabers and the Force, like mystical things like that. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah. You want something more than just sci-fi,
right? And the conflict of this movie and the message that love transcends space and time, they really impact me. Don't get me wrong, but I find it grueling at times and lost with Nolan's work. Sometimes I think he knows he's smarter than his audience, and it's annoying. But I also know he also over explains things to the audience that can also be annoying to some film watchers. And this watch with my adult brain was pretty different, I will admit, compared to my first viewing in a little more positive light,
Mm-hmm.
I will say. But honestly, after saying all that, I'd give it a 2.5 out of 5 on
Oh,
Letterboxd.
wow. You disappoint me.
I am so sorry. This is kind of the get back from spring.
From spring? Yeah.
Yep.
It all stems from spring.
I still carry that with me. And I'm hoping to do a updated spring episode like in a year or so or something like that, like a little far removed, but
Yeah.
No, this wasn't it wasn't an intended slight against you. I apologize, but yeah, just that is my rating, and I'm very nervous saying that out loud on a movie pod.
Yeah.
Trust me. Yeah,
I get
I
crucified.
know. This is hazardous opinion, like siren.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
It's like saying you don't like Schindler's List or Shawshank.
I'll get more into it. I'll get more into it. I promise everybody. And
Yeah.
hopefully any of my words, I don't know if they're just rambling or if it's just all the stuff that's in my head, but
Yeah.
I have my reasonings and I'll try and lay them out as clearly as I can.
Yeah. Who knows? We'll hit both sides of the audience.
We will. Yes. Yeah. And that's what I'm excited for. Like, I'm excited that you're excited about this movie.
Yeah.
Like, in all honesty, guys, like I am. I love when people love things that I don't,
Mm-hmm.
actually.
I don't know if we've had a bigger difference in rating in any movie.
I don't think we have. I don't think so.
That's one of your lowest, and this is one of my highest.
Honestly, I'm kind of questioning my movie critiques right now because I just can't find what everybody else finds in this.
Yeah.
I can't.
Interesting. Where did have you seen Memento? Did
I
you
have.
do that one with us?
Yeah, I
Okay.
did with you
Yeah.
and Eric. Yeah,
that
that
might have
was
been one
the
of your early ones.
first Christopher Nolan movie, right? For the pod?
Yeah, that was his first one.
Yep.
The first one, yeah, we did on the pod.
That we covered.
Though I would like to do Oppenheimer, of course.
Love. Yep.
And,
Inception.
I know Eric's throwing around Dark Knight. We'll see if we do that one.
We'll see.
Inception, I would like to do.
Inception, I would love to. Even Dunkirk.
Yeah.
As well.
Dark Knight, if we do it, I would like to do all three. Maybe we'll do a special pod and
that would be fun. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm sorry that was a lot.
Shocked.
Honestly, people, I am trying to over-explain so that like hopefully it gets across. Just so people aren't like, oh, you're out of your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, even though it's Nolan, it's huge. It's kind of everywhere. I found this one on Hulu, but I think it's also on Paramount. Did you have this one or you stream it?
I streamed it on Hulu.
Hulu.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I figured it was on another streamer, but Hulu I was brought to right away.
Yeah. Very accessible out there. Wow. Yeah. Still in shock. Want to get into it then?
Let's do it.
This is one of my little nitpicks that I'd like to get out of the way right away.
Oh, wow.
I don't I'm mixed. It's not like a full negative. Like I didn't remove point one. I think it balanced out with the end, but I'm not a huge fan of the opening documentary footage thing. Like it just feels a little weird. I think it pays off once you get to the end, but it almost pays off to just a neutral meh. Wasn't a huge fan of that.
Sure.
But it does bring you into the vibe a little bit of like I felt like I was opening a history textbook of like, oh
Yes.
shit, we're back in the 1920s. The Dust Bowl, which I mean they even reference in the movie. So it's very obviously supposed to be references back to that.
But it's how many years in the future?
Yeah,
and it's happening again.
I had to look this up because I don't know if they mention it straight in the movie, but it's like 2067, I think, is when it takes place.
Yeah, something like that. Not too close to our year now.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. So yeah, that was one of the things that I just off the bat, but it does kind of pay off. Yeah,
Kind of reminded me of Civil War because that's kind of not far removed from my mind because I finally checked that one out like this year, even though it came out last year. correct?
2024.
Yeah,
Came out last year.
okay, so
Yeah.
last year. Yeah, I finally checked it out this year. Really enjoyed it. I love Alex Garland's work. But yeah, it did kind of start out with a documentary, and a worse film also started out with the documentary, Electric State.
Electric State.
And
Still haven't watched that.
you would not like that opening then.
I don't know. Uh, there's something to say about watching bad movies just to be, in on the bandwagon and shit on something.
Mhm.
I just don't know if I want to waste. Was it like 2.5 hours? It's a longer one, isn't it?
A little bit.
I just don't know if I want to waste my time on
I'll never get that time back.
that. And you won't get your 3 hours back from Interstellar.
No, I won't. Thanks, Andy. No, I'm just kidding. I am glad that I checked this one out again,
Yeah.
though.
Did it? I gotta know. Does it go up or down since your last rewatch, or same?
Since my last rewatch, I would definitely say a little more up because with my adult brain, I can connect more to the humanity
Mm-hmm.
of it all. Human connection, human interaction. Also, like human psychology and how we feel towards our family, especially now more grown up with and looking back on family members and like memories and stuff like that. It's just more impactful now that I'm older, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you think of the through lines overall for the movie then? So you said the family, humanity aspects got to you a little bit. Were they not strong enough for you?
All right. So for that, I can like kind of start with one of my huge points I have in my notes.
Yeah.
I did put down that McConaughey is right at home in this role. And I was going to ask you like if you agreed with
100%.
it. Yes.
He is like the epitome of dad actor.
Yes. Yeah. That smooth talking man as well. He's a smooth talking dad. Yeah. He amplifies Nolan's philosophical writing kind of, and also with that through line, like we were talking about with family bond. There's so many like hard lines that go throughout this. Like, we're just here to be memories for our kids. Oh man, that it's still sticking with me right now. It just stabbed me in the heart right there.
100%. Very, very true, poignant lines like all throughout the movie that he's dropping.
Yes.
They just really stick. And yeah, like that one that you said, like hits really hard. I'm like, well, I don't have kids yet, but it's one of those things where like, yeah, once you're an adult, like, as someone who has parents, of course,
Right.
you're looking at them and you're like, yeah, I like they're people to you and you
Yes.
care about them, but they most likely will pass before you, and they're just mostly memories for most of your life.
Can I look through their eyes while they're looking at me?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of,
Yeah,
how am I in their lens?
exactly.
Yeah, you got to kind of try and connect that, right? And I've always gravitated towards single dad dynamics with their kids. Obviously, I'm not a single father, and neither was my own dad. Because that for me is part of escapism with films, though.
Yeah.
I get a glimpse into other dynamics between people that I've never experienced in my own life. What I love about Cooper is that his role in the story is not highlighted by shortcomings like most single father stories, but instead it's that heroic journey. He cares deeply about his children, wants to give them a future, and willing to make sacrifices for that, and he stands up for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's so admirable, and I can only hope to carry these lessons I get from fictional dads and my own family to pass to my children and be the best I can be. One big knock, though, and this is why I'm going to just bring up the knock towards it, because it is a big through line
Mm-hmm.
with how much a father loves his children. Cooper basically favors Murph, and there's no competition. Tom is basically pushed off to the side.
Yep.
And I'd say that's going against that theme and weakens it, actually.
Mm-hmm.
If it's true for one thing, it should be true for another. If his love for Murph is true, it should be true for Tom as well, no matter what.
Yeah. I
Um,
I agree with you on that. I think Tom definitely gets thrown away, especially once we get to the the final age. He's not even there.
no.
Spoilers, by the way.
Yep.
He doesn't die. We don't know. We just don't. He's gone.
Yep. Just off.
But with that, I justified it in my mind. I do have a lot of scenes with McConaughey and Tom or Cooper and Tom, where they do have this special bonding that I understand as someone who's a son to a father, where it's this almost this gruff, like you don't need to say anything, you don't need to express the emotion, you gotta do what you gotta do for your family, and Tom understands that, and he knows that he has to take care of Murph now, take care of Donald,
John Lithgow. Yep.
their father-in-law, I
Yes.
think.
Yep.
Or
To math. Yep. To
Cooper's father-in-law.
Cooper's character.
So their grandpa, and like him keeping the farmhouse, and like he didn't have the smarts to ever do anything bigger with his life than being a farmer. We like hear that right from the start, and I think I don't know, like I feel like they had a healthy relationship. I really do. Like even seeing the spacecraft things, like we get the messages later that I definitely want to go more in depth about. But
Mm-hmm.
um, uh, Tom sends like 3 different messages to Cooper while he's there and stuff, and he actually cares, and I feel like they had a healthy relationship. There's just it's that father son thing. It's never as close as father daughter. It's just different.
Very fair. I definitely get what you're saying. And I can see that same perspective through plenty of sons' eyes about
Mm-hmm.
their father. Me personally, my personality is quite a bit from my dad, and he isn't afraid to show the things that I also am not afraid to show. We're both pretty sensitive men. I can say that. But it is really nice to see the vulnerability in my dad, because I've never really latched onto or connected to men that are, they think the only way to be is like that.
Mm-hmm.
Very just no emotion,
Yeah.
can't show anything. It's human. Um so with me, I can understand why my perspective is different from other people, is what I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to get at. That is just my perspective. That's my life. So like, yeah, that's kind of just how I see that.
Yeah.
And I wanted more.
Yeah.
And like there wasn't even the underlying things, even though it wasn't said between characters. There wasn't enough of the underlying, like, oh, Cooper has Tom on his mind. It was always Murph.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm trying to say, because with very good storytelling, you can convey that without dialogue. I don't think this movie attempts it.
Yeah. I think they definitely, for story purposes, probably felt they need to favor
There
a
was
child.
so much, very fair,
Yeah.
and I'm just only speaking on that family dynamic.
Yeah.
And hey, if there was more of that, less of the space science stuff, maybe this
Mm-hmm.
would be more of a movie for me.
I do think, I don't say this often, this movie could do with a director's cut, a little bit longer.
I
I think
could agree.
15, 20 more minutes of characterization could have cleared up a lot of
Like you said, your
things.
story bumps that you're coming up against. And
Yeah.
I've listened to other pods where people also, like, there are some falters in
Mm-hmm.
the storyline and what they choose to show in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, maybe that could clear it up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of my fault is with the ending and some of the personalization there for relationships. But I think, yeah, 10, 15 minutes of scenes interspersed could, add more to that, add more to Tom's relationship with Cooper, add more Coopers with everyone else.
I for sure agree with you, because like I did hear like a real life story, and I'm not sure if it's like totally true, but apparently on House of Cinema's podcast. I just checked out their pod on Interstellar as well, since it was released to IMAX, but unfortunately you were
Yeah.
out of the country still
Really?
when it, yes,
Like just recently?
it came back 10 years later.
Wow.
Wow. Okay. We didn't even mention that at the top of the pod. I should have. But yes, me being in America, I was aware of that. You weren't. And I'm so sorry
I
for that,
missed
buddy.
it.
But yes, yeah, they brought it back to IMAX. But they did cover it because of that. And they were mentioning how Timothy Chalamet was in an interview, and he mentioned that he was actually kind of saddened by watching Interstellar in the theater for the first time, like his first big role on the big screen,
Mm-hmm.
because he thought during those video messages between him and Cooper that the camera would be showing more of Timothy's face, but it was all on Cooper
Mm.
the whole time, and you could just hear the voice mostly
Yeah. And it
from
wasn't
Tom.
even Chalamet. It was, the older version of the child.
And then yes, and
Yeah.
then when they got to Casey Affleck and stuff, but Timothy was bummed by that. So I'm gonna take that and just say that's what the movie was also conveying, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That it's focused on Cooper.
Yeah.
So again, Tom's character is kind of
Yeah.
weakened there as well, I feel.
And
If that makes sense.
thinking about more too, the real emotional crux of the scene is definitely Murph's tape at the end. So
Yes.
I can see where Tom got pushed to the wayside.
Yeah. So that, and they just, House of Cinema brought up very good points that I was like, wow, okay, you guys are, you hear me,
Yeah.
And I'm not going to harp on it too much. It's just that, like, those are things I mostly connect to. And if that's not complete for me in a movie, then how can I connect to it fully?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I get along well enough with the Murph Cooper stuff that I kind of put a lot of that out of my mind.
Totally
I
fair.
think their relationship
Totally
is
fair.
so strong.
Oh, it's beautiful. It is.
I can forgive a little bit of the other stuff.
Oh, definitely. And okay, we can move on from that point. I was going to mention though there are memorable opening shots of the film. Like, it has to be up there with as soon as we open on the movie, when we're in Murph's room and the dust is like slowly falling on the bookcase, and it kind of all foreshadows what's going to happen at the end in Murph's room as well. Like, spoilers for a movie that came out 10 years ago, people. Spoiler. But with Cooper being revealed as her ghost, I love that bookcase shot with the dust just slowly falling, and it shows what's going on in the world. And also there's like a spacecraft just chilling there. So like, I just like that it kind of encapsulates the movie in a way, in a shot.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that room is very important for this whole movie.
Yeah, definitely.
I want to say on Murph as well, for one, cool name, even though she might not like the reason behind it.
Murphy's Law.
Yeah.
Yep.
I thought all 3 iterations of Murph were really good.
Yes.
I especially like Jessica Chastain a lot.
Oh, she blows it out of the water.
She did great. Mackenzie Foy is the child Murph too, just amazing.
Yeah, she did really well.
I've seen her in quite a few stuff, a few movies, and all good. Like, this is just a stellar cast. And one question I do have for you is, were you aware of Damon's role in this before you watched it?
Totally not. No.
Was he a surprise for you?
He was a surprise, and before watching Interstellar, I know for a fact that one of my favorite movies was The Departed. And Matt Damon has a huge role in that. Even if I did not see, yes, people will be shocked at this as well, I didn't see any Bourne movie until 2 years ago. I watched the first
still
one.
Haven't seen them.
Okay.
So
wow, people are not going to credit us with knowing movies, man. We do, guys. We do. We just haven't checked out some, okay?
Yeah.
And it's our age. But I know I loved Matt Damon, and I knew who he was. So I'm very shocked that I didn't know anything, because my performers that I grabbed onto when I was a kid, I would make cast lists on notebook paper,
Mhm.
stuff like that, of everything I loved. So I would have been aware
Well,
of him.
they very intentionally kept him out of this,
They
though.
did,
All the
exactly.
promo
Yeah.
material, everything leading up.
Yeah.
I think even announcing that he had a role when they did was like it's a very minor thing or something, cameo
Hmm.
or something. But he's actually got a pretty decently prominent role in the story
Well,
of this.
and we know why.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. Oh man, I love him. Whenever there's a global event, I wanted to say too, I always appreciate a film for grabbing my hand and leading me into the water a bit
Hmm.
by slowly introducing the state of things patiently.
Yeah.
And Interstellar does that, showing interviews, blasting back to the past, along with Cooper's nightmare too, to open up things. That's a nice way to start the adventure too, is
Hmm.
what I wanted to mention about the beginning.
With him flying the ship.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and it's kind of like shaken violently, and it's
Yeah.
very loud, and yeah, you're already kind of like your heart already skips a beat
Yeah.
starting out.
I I like that we get a little characterization of him as an expert pilot. I don't. The only ding on that scene though is it's like almost a one for one later. I think it's the same ship. Uh, and so I'm like, that just feels like a repeat scene
You're kind of right.
because they almost show like the exact same shot when I think they're leaving the water planet at
You're
one
right.
point.
Oh man.
And so I was like, so is that just a flash forward? Is that actually a different memory or like? But I don't
Okay,
know.
so that kind of muddies the waters a bit. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I get you there.
but yeah, I do like the characterization that he's like an expert pilot, but we didn't need all this lots of setup for it. It was just
Fair.
yeah, you're the best pilot we know. We need you on this mission.
Yep. Very fascinating, putting us in a world where a dust bowl is happening constantly when we're so far removed from the actual dust bowl
Mm.
during the 30s. Do you think this is how it would go down if it were to happen like now?
I I found a lot of realism in this. Like especially with the governmental parts, like we're still going to fund NASA. We're just not going to tell people we're funding NASA
Uh-huh.
because, understandably, that's going to cause global
An
panic.
uproar. Yep.
When you're not putting it towards food and your farmers.
The essentials.
When this kind of thing is happening, especially when you've got such a national bias, kind of like the Murph's teacher talking about the moon landing being faked and all that, and
Yes. Yep.
us wasting money fighting Russia on the space race, which a lot of people agree with. Um, but there's a purpose to it. I mean, uh, it's pretty divided in the world. Where I got to find the exact quote, but we used to look up at the sky and wonder at our place in the stars. Now we just down and worry about our place in the dirt. Like that was perfect line of the movie for me.
Wow.
Like
Yes.
characterized McConaughey, Cooper as a character, um, characterizing the world that Interstellar takes place in.
Yep.
Like I was imagining it is so McConaughey in 2067 and Interstellar here is our generation right now. Like the Zoomers, millennials.
Yep.
We'd be McConaughey's age then.
Very true.
So like, or sorry, our kids I think would be McConaughey's age. I don't know, somewhere around that,
It's
whatever
somewhere-
age he is.
yeah.
But we'd be
Time's weird.
we'd be closer to Donald's age, I think, to his dad. Because his dad I think would have grown up in the 90s and 80s.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think is what I was thinking.
Fair. John Lithgow's character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's like, inventions used to come out every day and stuff, and there used to be, a new device every day, and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty accurate to right now for
Kind
us.
of feels like now.
Like,
yeah, definitely.
and I can just imagine us becoming this very cynical character like John Lithgow when you get older, of like, well, shit, we had all this amazing stuff, and now the world's just went to shit, and but you've got Cooper, the generation after us, that's just still hopeful, like the last generation to grow up with space, the people who are kids right now in our world that are seeing like the Artemis missions that are going back to the moon and stuff like that, and
Right.
China going to the moon and everything, and Musk Mars and all the space stuff that's going on right now.
SpaceX.
So like it felt super poignant and like almost predicting of our reinvigoration of space right now in 2025. For Cooper having growing up, he would have grown up in this world with experiencing that, and then everyone losing it because we had to focus on something else. Sorry, so that was a long rant to say that, like, I felt like these felt like super real characters that actually lived in our time now, even though this movie was before 2025, of course. But
I love that you said all of that, because it added a bit for me,
mhm,
honestly, like positively. Yeah, I do really enjoy that you said that, because I was kind of looking at how their demeanors were as characters, because in the beginning there they do have a couple sit downs, him
mhm,
and Cooper and John Lithgow's character, his father-in-law. And it's very interesting hearing man to man, especially not being Cooper's biological father, a father-in-law.
yeah,
I'm more interested in that, actually, that dynamic. With John Lithgow's daughter is gone, but he
mhm,
still has the person she married.
yeah.
Kind of weird, like if you think about it.
But it's like in this broken world that they're living in, you kind of have to. You got to help each other out.
Right, yeah, and figure it out like on the way. And I was just interested in their philosophies as individuals, and
Mm,
I think you hit it spot on there.
yeah.
And two kind of goes with the point where it really depends on how environmentally aware you are as well, and like
Hmm.
how you stand on that and those things nowadays. I almost think I would probably be cynical, but hopeful, because I'm an optimist in nature.
Hmm.
But I could also look back and say the same thing as John Lithgow and say we had all of it,
Yeah.
and we did this.
It's super easy to
We
see
did this
his
to our
characterization.
Earth.
Like, yeah,
Yes,
in
yeah.
40 years from now, if we're having dust bowls and stuff, you're like,
We're ruining it.
well, I remember when I was 20 in my 20s and, trying to do my
Things were
part, but the
okay.
world just didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Taking care of the Earth,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. In general. And I'm not really going to dive too far into that, because could do a whole topic episode on that. But
100%.
yeah.
So, getting back to kind of the start as well, I think the cornfield farmhouse is an amazing setting for our
Yes.
start. Um, Nolan actually grew all the corn for the movie, which I
I saw.
really loved.
I've always seen in any like movie fact. Yeah,
Yeah,
this
that's like the
always
number
pops
one
up.
fact.
Mm-hmm.
Such a cool thing. Like,
It is. It
just
is.
something he didn't have to do that just adds so much depth to the world that they live in there.
And it wasn't a waste either. It was useful. They
Yeah.
actually used the corn that grew.
Yeah, I think they
So
donated or something.
there you
Yeah.
go. Like, yeah, I mean, a great thing for a piece of art too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Giving me the family dynamic off the jump, though. Like, thank you, Christopher Nolan. I'm already bought into this one because they're all very comfortable around each other.
Hmm.
You know, they feel like a family unit, even though there is that kind of divide between Cooper and his father-in-law,
Hmm.
with being a father-in-law and a son-in-law.
Yeah. It's usually
I
how it is.
mean, like you could see John Lithgow just going off with the kids and like not giving a care about Cooper and like really staying distant, right? Both of
Hmm.
them. But no, they're all a unit, and that's
Yeah.
nice. Yeah,
Yeah. He cares about his kids, even if he fights with Cooper
exactly. And
or his grandkids.
yes, McConaughey and Lithgow can both be my father. I've considered them family for a long while. So,
I don't know. Lithgow after Dexter just isn't the same for
ooh,
me.
why'd you have to bring up Trinity Killer? Come on now. Oh no, my parents are going through that series right now, and they know it's one of my favorites, and I'm so happy that they're going through it. I actually didn't think my mom would check it out. I
Yeah.
kind of knew my dad would, but she loves thrillers, but she's picky.
Have they got to him yet? Because I feel like he's the best villain in the show.
I don't believe they have. I
Okay.
feel like they just started season 1 not too long ago, so
Tell me.
there's no way they're
Skip
already
this
on.
episode then.
Yeah. Oh God. Is that
Spoilers
season
for
3?
Dexter season 3. Yeah.
Yes, season
Yeah.
3. Oh man, I don't want to think about the end of that season either. Okay, all right, we're going off of that.
Jump onto it. You talk about the family familiarization. How do you say that word?
Familiarization.
Yeah, you get
Yeah,
familiar with the family element right off the bat
words are tough.
with this drone scene
Yeah.
that they're chasing, and I think that's another like good world building event is
Yep.
like these drones that I can't remember what they said the purpose was. Like
I can't remember either.
some sort of monitoring thing, but
Yep.
it's coming down because it's circuiting, so they need to scrap it for parts and catch it, and so
Mhm.
it shows McConaughey's scientific prowess. He's not just a pilot.
Right.
He can do tech stuff. Cooper and Tom's relationship with him trusting like him, just saying, "Hey, jump in the driver's seat quick so I can
Very true.
go do this," and then you just get all this cool family element of them having a good win right off the bat.
The kids being excited with him
Yeah.
too. Yeah, yeah. I'm with you there for sure.
And then it's like, shit, parent teacher conferences. And you got this big drone
Oh
in the
my
back as they
god.
pull up.
I know. Yeah, like of course they go through like an event like this right before an
Yeah.
event like that.
Like it's like, you got to bring us down back to the real world now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back to basics.
Yeah. Even though the world's kind of ending, we still got to do,
Parent teacher conferences,
teaching the next generation.
the little things. Yeah.
The world's not fully over yet.
Right. I do know older brother slash like younger sister relationships and dynamics. I personally have a younger sister that I'm now best friends with.
Mm-hmm.
It for sure didn't start out that way, and we were always at odds and giving each other hell up until my senior year of high school. So I can say Murph and Tom get under my skin when going back and forth. Like, is it actually like that and appear that way to outsiders? Or is this to the extreme and annoying in this film? That's a question I kind of had. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I also, I have a younger sister like you, and we
Mhm.
also, fought a lot growing up as
Yep.
any siblings do.
See, I couldn't see you fighting with anybody, so that's just strange. Okay.
We did, both my brother and sister. But yeah, now we're best friends. I'm best friends with both of them. So
Yep.
it's and I like that we kind of get that characterization with Chastain and Affleck as well as the young or the older versions as well. They are understanding of their situation, and they're closer. They're just not as goofy.
Yeah, that's very true. Just when they were younger in the beginning there, they were like really going at each other. I'm like, okay, do we need all of this though? Like, like just the things he would say to her. Like he could not say one normal thing to her. So honestly, I hope I wasn't like that.
Yeah, I don't even remember any specific ones because it's just I don't know, it seemed normal to me.
Right? Yeah. No, definitely. And already in an opening scene with our main family, we get a big conversation between Murph and Cooper about paranormal versus science. Right here sets us up for the course of the film with talking about Murph's ghost and the importance of science.
Yes.
Two huge components of the movie, and I really liked that it was already telegraphed right there.
Yeah. I love this. I made big notes on this scene.
Hey, all right. We're thinking here, Andy.
Because like everything Nolan shows you, most of his movies, almost every movie, especially this one though,
yes,
has a meaning.
Yep.
He does not add pointless nonsense. At least he tries not to. He cuts it down a lot.
For sure.
Like this film's nearly 3 hours. Like I said, I could do with a little bit more, but every little thing adds to the universe. And building up the ghost, like you said, building up her, because you're gonna see Murph's entire life, pretty much. Like he's building the foundation of who she becomes through these scenes. It's interesting to see.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and you can see that bond that Cooper and Murph have compared to Cooper and Tom, kind of like what we were getting at earlier with my kind of gripes about the family connections, but we already can we can look back when Murph hasn't sent a video message to him in a long time until that one hits when
Mhm.
she's older.
Yeah, it's the only one she
So,
sends to him.
right. Yeah. So, like, even these beginning scenes are setting that part up. One of
Mhm.
the most crucial, like, emotional hits
Yeah,
that gets to you in this movie, I'd say.
yeah.
You know, he just all of a sudden sees her all grown up. And why is that? Because they were so close to begin with. She did not want him to leave. He left.
Mhm.
I'm kind of paraphrasing here, but you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? It kind of just, it all comes together. I appreciate that. I appreciate the writing
yeah.
for sure with all of that stuff. I do. I can say positive things about this film, Andy.
While still hating
I
it.
don't hate it. It's half, but
He half hates
I have
it. I like can we
parent
talk about the
teacher
parent teacher conference a little bit?
conferences.
This is one of my favorite scenes in the movie, more for the comedic element than the actual like. There's good story building and universe building here too, but because you get to find out about the history of the world a little bit.
Yes.
Um, but like the conversation with the principal's okay, or with Tom's teacher, he's like, "Yep, he's gonna be farmer." But then you get to Murph's teacher, and she's like, she keeps bringing these old textbooks, and she talked about the moon, and I'm like, "You don't believe we went to the moon?" And you're supposed to dislike this character. At least most people are reasonably probably disliking this character,
Yeah.
except the people that don't think we went to the moon.
The conspiracy theories.
And then like when you jump back out with McConaughey back in the truck with Murph, um, it's like how'd it go? You're like, well, I got you suspended.
Oh my god, I loved that. That was a great ending to that whole sequence.
Yeah,
Yes.
but but he kind of like pulls one on the teacher about the punishment thing too, and like it's just perfect comedic stuff right at the intro there.
I was gonna say, I love that little quip from Cooper to the school employee about waist size compared to intellectual scores and how one number doesn't decide a future for his son. That perfect writing there.
I
And
like that too.
it's
Yeah,
like, hey, you got a point. That makes sense to me.
yeah.
Like, that's great as a comeback
I like that
to
you bring
something
that
like
up.
that.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
just defending his daughter, but defending his son as well.
No, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like, and that's why I mentioned earlier that like he is a single father that will defend his children
Mm-hmm.
to no end. And like along with this parent teacher conference and kind of learning how the world is, it's really fucked up how everyday life is now for the working class with not having enough room in universities and being relegated to just being a farmer if your scores aren't high.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's so unfortunate that there's
Yeah.
just those baskets now. And farmers are so essential like now. And, you know, there's hopefully, I don't really know the job market, all right? I haven't like researched, but I would hope it's more balanced than it is in this
Yeah.
present.
It's like you're either in the hopeful category, or you're going to be a super scientist that
Exactly.
goes to save us, or you're going to be in you're supporting everyone else category,
Right.
or you're in the masses that's supporting the smart people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get what I'm saying. Yeah. It's just such a weird thought
Yeah.
that this movie brings up. You know, going back to Cooper and Murph, just kind of wanted to touch on that. We could like talk endlessly about their relationship, but
Mm-hmm.
just one point that I had in my notes here, Cooper and Murph, like their relationship is so endearing. And how she looks up to him and his little mini me buddy is so admirable. If this was a different writer director, I do feel it would have been Tom in Murph's place. You know, kind of just an easier thing to do with a father son relationship, maybe like, you know, the son growing up to be just like his father, right? But
Yeah.
we have the daughter in that place, you know. It's more interesting and more dynamic, and just something about a father daughter duo. Hope one day my children and I can be that way. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, you know. It's really nice to see.
Yeah. Well, I think they both do grow up to be just like Cooper. They're just two different halves of him. Like you got
Yeah.
Murph, who's his science half. He's the one. She's the one that is a representation of Cooper. You know, doing what he wants to do, doing the space stuff, getting to save people, and being a hero. Whereas you have Tom, and Tom's doing the hard thing to survive, and being the farmer and stuff like that. Something that
Right.
Cooper hates, but he still did anyways. He was a farmer for a while.
Very fair. Yeah. Very true. Yep.
Can we continue chronologically to NASA once we get to there?
Yeah.
Is right if we jump there.
Yeah. Yeah. You go ahead.
So I really love this reveal.
Okay.
I feel like it's not like, for one, we get introduced to the I don't know what the models are called, but whatever TARS and Case are, the little robot things.
Yes.
Is these former Marine personalities or whatever they said they are.
Yep.
Don't know if they're AI or whatever. They don't go too in depth into them, but you get introduced to those, and then you get this conference room meeting where you get to meet the whole crew that we're going to be flying with, and then you get the reveal we're NASA, and it's just one of the I don't know, it's one of the coolest reveals for me. It's not like anything groundbreaking or anything, but it's just like, oh, we're going to space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like away from this dirt land of an
Yeah.
Earth. Yeah. Yeah. For sure. And TARS, very awesome creative robot companion to have.
Mm-hmm.
Like very cool design, and instead of having R2 and C3PO like two different droids, they're kind of morphed into one thing in two TARS though as
Mm-hmm.
well. It's almost essential to have a robot companion with the sci-fi expedition.
Yeah.
Didn't know TARS was used as a military robot until like this rewatch. So I'm glad I caught it this time. And I also forgot the humor settings.
Yeah.
And I'd also give TARS 100% on that.
I love TARS. Case isn't that funny. I think his humor setting's a lot lower.
Yes.
But TARS is like perfect. Um, he's a great comedic relief throughout a very somber film. Once you get into some of the later um, parts of it,
Yes.
and especially like we jump really fast after we meet NASA and like conversations start happening. There's no train up period. It's just, oh,
No.
we're going now.
Yep.
You just infer that the train up happened.
Yep.
It's like, well, we're going to space now. Goodbye, Murph, who we just spent like probably like half an hour almost in this film already,
Right.
and now you're saying goodbye to a couple of the characters. Or Cooper is. It's just super sad. Like I tear up at this scene, honestly.
Yeah.
Like him saying goodbye to Murph. Like McConaughey's acting is just on point throughout this, as well as Foy's is the child Murph there. Like, and like the icing on the cake when I like really start tearing up is when she runs out at the end. She's like, "Fuck!" Like I'm mad at him, but I need to say goodbye. Like she realizes that,
Yes.
um, and she doesn't get that chance.
The goodbye between Murph and Cooper, like I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. Props to you, Christopher Nolan, making me feel things. I just can't imagine how difficult that is, especially not knowing when you're coming back.
Mm-hmm. Or if you're coming back.
Yes, but like the best heroes, he knows he has to.
Mm-hmm.
And I always see that image of Cooper holding Murph real tight from the side whenever this film is like brought up. Like if there's just one image from Interstellar, it's that where he's holding her and
Oh, really?
they're both crying. It's so sweet and devastating in just that one frame, and it says so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's what I love. Like, ooh, if there's a shot, boom.
It's not even getting into all like the other little heartstrings that they're pulling with the him sending the message that just gets better on rewatches of stay. It says stay, Dad.
Yep.
And then fuck it, as Cooper's driving away, he looks in the floorboards again to see if Murph's gonna pop up there. Like it's just a little thing of him pushing the blanket away, and I'm like, oh, like,
Yeah.
he was really hoping that she would say goodbye to him.
I
So,
know. Oh my god.
Like I don't know. I love this. Poor Tom. It's just,
Yes.
take care of the family.
No,
It's like, yep, I got it, Dad. Thanks.
You got this, right? The
Get-
setup, also the setup for the expedition, it's very expositional, but the way the very talky explanations are handed to us is very easily consumable.
Mhm.
Actually, that's what many stories and movies get wrong, and a lot of hand holding occurs in a negative way.
Mhm.
Nolan, we get it. You're smarter than everyone. But I appreciate how you wrote Interstellar compared to Tenet.
I like that. Yeah. I
Yes.
he how do you say it? Like, yeah, he held your hand, but not to the point where they're breaking things down to a child level. Like, it's
Right.
like, yep, this is the mission we got to go do, and yep, we're setting it up.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's also not leaving completely in the dust like Tenant. Of just,
Right.
we hope you figure it out.
Yeah. Good luck. Here it is, audience.
Yeah.
While Professor Brand is trying to recruit Cooper, there's a sense of mystery that carries throughout the entire film until the reveal, as well as fascinating science being discussed. Like
Mm-hmm.
Plan A and Plan B, they were so intriguing when they laid it out. And
Mm-hmm.
I love the dialogue throughout when Murph and Cooper arrive at the secret facility as well. Like, within NASA, and all the conversations going about it's not like, oh my God, I'm still totally lost. Like, what is going on here? It's just like, here's what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Here you go. Like, it was very well laid out. And freaking Christopher Nolan, he just had to sneak his Michael Caine right in one of his movies again.
I love Michael Caine though. He's so good at his role here.
Yes.
As older Dr. Brand.
Yes.
I There's a lot of good threads, both sci-fi and like story wise, that I like pulling on from this NASA facility. Like before we take off, like for one, like a little bit of jumping into the end, but both plans end up working. Both Plan A and B end up being things that happen. Um, but we'll get to more in that at the end. And then you got the ghost thing, that people are like acknowledging. Like, there's this weird way that you figured out the coordinates to our facility. There's some sort of ghosts that want to help us out, and people in the scientific community are just acknowledging this, that there's some
Yes.
weird entity out there, like we're an arrival or something.
Yeah.
And then we're just like, we can't explain it, but we appreciated the help. Um, and then you've got the gravity equation that Michael Caine's working on, that he knows is fruitless, um, at least to him at this current point.
Yeah.
But he's like, there's this big moral question of, is what he's doing right? Like giving hope to humanity, but at the same time, there's no hope with what he's doing, at least.
Right.
Like he's just leading people in circles to keep them busy.
Yes. Actually, that brings me to one of my questions in my notes for you.
Yeah.
And you don't have to have a concrete answer. We can kind of discuss a bit. But what do you think of that whole moral quandary there of the movie, with protecting or saving the people of Earth presently and staying to take care of the planet and its people, versus providing a future for future generations that aren't even alive yet and leaving the planet for that hope?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you think of that?
I think that's a really hard decision, and it's crazy that it comes down to. I'm sure there's more in the community that knew. Of course, the president or something's probably signing off on this thing, but um, that Michael Caine's got all this burden resting on his shoulders, making this insane decision of like, well, we're doomed. Do we at least save our species and continue that on, even though we're all dying? And then, like, yeah, do you tell people that we're all fucked? Yeah, it's so difficult. Like, you get to Damon scenes later and stuff, and Damon knew about it. So at least there's some in the community that knew, and it's yeah, it's this crazy thing that you hope you never have to deal with in your life, where
Mm-hmm.
it if someone ever has to make that decision, that I don't know, you hope you're on the right side of it.
Right?
Like,
Yeah.
but also, like, I understand both sides. Like, I would understand people getting pissed that you've doomed us by running us in circles instead of looking for other options. Like, you've accepted our doom for us, but also, on the other hand, he's looking so far ahead for the future of humanity that, like, how can you really put that against him? It's a difficult one.
It is.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And that's why I did not need you to give a concrete answer. It was just, I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on that. I'm really
Yeah.
interested in what everyone kind of thinks and bounces around in their head about it, you know?
Yeah, it's just one of those decisions you hope you never have to make in your life.
Yes. Oh, it's just one of the impossible.
Yeah, it's a good thing I'm bad at science.
Oh, thank God. Yeah. Never put me in his fucking position. That's for sure. Oh my God. But yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for answering that. Okay.
Yeah.
Just want to know that.
What about you? Would you have a preference on decision there?
I'm actually like totally with you.
Yeah.
Anything I would say would kind of correlate with what you're saying there. It's just, yeah, it's kind of impossible. Like, you know, uh, do you take full advantage and, I mean, kind of to generalize it, live in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
or do you look super forward?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a very tough thing. Like with my own philosophy in life is take one day at a time, make the most of
Yeah.
every day. It's just very tough. I only know that for myself, you know. Um, as well as like obviously I'm married, and you know, like we share that together and stuff like that. It's just yeah. I could not decide for the whole of humanity. No, please do not hand that to me. Oh my God.
I'll make sure I put your name in the pot if that ever comes up.
Oh, thank you so much, Andy. I knew you could be a
Ju-
good buddy and do that for me.
Just for hating this movie, I'll put your name in.
Yeah.
I really like the science stuff of the endurance. Like, it reminds me so much of like the old Alien from the 80s, like the spaceship inside there. Like, all the buttons look so retro, yet
Yes.
it looks so modern. What I'd imagine 2067 spacecraft would look like as
Very
well.
forward as well, though.
Yeah.
It's that retro futurism.
Yep, that's exactly what I had down.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I get you. Yeah, I like that. It kind of calls back to that. And I'm sure Interstellar obviously is pulling from a bunch of different movies like that, and
Mhm.
a bunch of different movies that make up sci-fi and have made that platform very solid. Yeah, probably pulling from like 2001: A Space Odyssey, everything like that.
Big thing.
Just like
Yeah.
Alien and Aliens and
Especially when you get those big sweeping shots of space
yes.
in the ships when it's quiet. I'm like, yep, that's Space Odyssey.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Still haven't seen it.
Yeah, this is done better though. Of course, I mean, there's a lot more going on in Interstellar.
Sure.
But with the scientific design too, like I said, of case and tars, like, such a unique way of depicting a robot. Like, of course, we had to have, a robot companion for our ships, like you said. There's always sci-fi robot companion. But once you get to that water planet, you see like his multi-use, the faster version,
Yes.
and he gets to start rolling, and you're like, oh, they actually do have, practical uses other than just sitting in the ship. And
Oh, that's why this was a military robot.
yeah,
Right? Yeah, definitely. I like those reveals kind of to us, like, oh
yeah,
boy, all right, like this was in
yeah.
his back pocket the whole time.
More modes out there.
Yeah, right. And I was gonna say quick too. Once the team is in the shuttle and we're journeying into the great unknown, I think I finally realized what I brush up on
Mm-hmm.
a little bit. I mean, I don't totally have it formed in my head, but this is kind of the best that I got. But like, dealing with adventures in space in film, the element that Interstellar uses with space travel is loneliness, and Cooper living in that as his kids grow older, despite having the company that he has, like,
Mm.
Anne Hathaway's character. And those guys, for me, the most intriguing and fascinating stories in film have taken place on Earth. I've experienced loneliness in my own life, and here grounded on Earth. You know, I don't need space to use that metaphor. I get that it can be used, but just more me relating to it. And I know I do love escapism, but for some reason, space is not a environment I love to escape to, I guess. I just think that I lock in when those events take place like on Earth compared to an astronaut floating out in space. Going back to the metaphors, like using space as a metaphor, and literally you're a great distance away from what you know.
Mm-hmm.
The way it's translated onto film and what I watch, like the space part just doesn't capture me like stories like that taking place on Earth, if that makes sense
Yeah.
at all.
I disagree, but I get you.
Here we go. Anne Hathaway is another hazardous opinion I'd like to discuss.
Oh, no. You don't like Anne Hathaway?
I can understand she's an awesome performer to others, one of people's favorites. I've grown up with her. Ella Enchanted, Princess Diaries, you name it. Now, when I'm more focused on performers and like what they do, I just don't find her super fascinating. And I don't gravitate towards her. And she might be an amazing, lovely person. I don't dislike her, but for like, I don't understand people like putting her way, way up there and that she's a pole, you know?
Yeah. I admittedly don't have like a huge knowledge of her cinematography, just some of the more basic things and some of her voicing
Sure.
roles. But I don't know. I've always liked her in what she is in. But yeah, I agree with you. I don't know if she's, the top tier.
I
Like I wouldn't put her in McConaughey's bracket. Probably closer down to, I don't even know where she'd be. Like McConaughey and she'd probably be in like Lithgow's bracket for me. I think.
oh,
Like
sure.
Lithgow is like a big actor to me. I
Okay.
really love him and everything's in, but he's not like he's no A tier actor. Like he's got really good acting chops, but how am I trying to phrase this? Like he's never gonna be your front man.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I
Like
get you.
I probably would never put her as as the front man either in a movie unless it's, I don't know, probably like a romance or a kids movie.
Well, she was front for Love and Other Drugs with my boy Jake, and I watched it just because of Jake. And yeah, I don't know.
Was she good in that though?
That's the thing. I don't enjoy her performances, but I'm sure other people do.
Mm.
That's all I can answer to that,
Yeah.
honestly. Like, I'm not going to say she was bad because she wasn't. I
Yeah.
wasn't drawn.
I thought she was good here. I really liked her performance. I just think it's more on the writing side for me that I don't like her character here. Or not. Sorry.
Nolan
I do
has
like her character. I don't like that she doesn't get enough depth.
fair, and Nolan has had an issue with his leading lady characters.
Not writing
Sometimes
them.
that's
Yeah.
something a bunch of people brush up on. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because that's one of my my ending things that I really have a problem with is Cooper and Brand's relationship. I don't think there's anything there,
Mm-mm.
and yet he's gonna leave his daughter, who he just reunited with, to fly all the way back to live with Brand. I'm like, I don't get that. Just live out your days with your
Yeah,
daughter.
right. Yeah, I don't know. And like, okay, that brings up one of my other questions I was going to ask you. What do you think of the messaging, like themes of the movie being presented in such an obvious hand-holding scene, though, with Hathaway's Brand speaking right into the camera with her big monologue?
I did like that scene of her, and it gave her some characterization that obviously she has some really deeply held principles about emotion. I did she of course, I think to Romilly and Cooper as well, lost some science points for that. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, well, I'm glad that you admitted that you're taking emotions into account here,
Mm-hmm.
but this is a space mission for space, and I would also have gone with Cooper and Romilly and be like, yeah, we're going to disregard your love. We got to go to whatever the day is better at. Um,
Sure.
Ultimately, that ended up being a lie with Damon,
Mm-hmm.
but like, if it hadn't been, and they went to Wolf's instead, and his ended up being a bad planet, like the water planet, like it would have been a really bad end.
Yeah. Oh, no kidding. Yeah, for sure. And I kind of wanted to know like what you kind of thought about her kind of like saying the
Oh,
message of the movie. You know what I'm
yeah.
yeah.
I I thought it was in line with her character. She has a lot of subtleties where you can tell she cares deeply about Wolf, and they bring it up a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and I think it, even though Cooper's disregarding everything she's saying, he is also taking that in and he's remembering it for later, and it's his through line as well. Is that
Mm-hmm.
this is all for love, even if he's not admitting it as much. I don't know. I don't know. I liked it.
Good answer. Okay.
Yeah.
No, for sure. Gotcha.
It works for me. I'm guessing you didn't like her monologue.
Well done monologue. Actually, I just kind of with me mentioning the hand holding, I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
really I don't love hand holding. I like to feel that. I like
Hmm.
to feel that message, not hear it from the character like
Yeah.
straight off. I wish the wording was a bit different or something where it was a little more subtle, but it was
Yeah.
kind of in your face where it's like, all right, here's what you're supposed to be feeling, but I've been feeling these things. Like, let me, you know?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I get you. Yeah. Less monologue and more just raw emotion.
Right.
Speaking of raw emotion, we do get back from the water planet, which is the best fucking planet, by the way.
Yeah.
It should have just stayed there forever, surfing waves.
Sure.
Um,
Surfboard.
I love the whole time dilation thing. I could get into that whole nother pod just on the science aspects of that.
Time's super interesting to play with.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um, so I won't go super into depth on that, but just know that that's one of my favorite parts of the film is the whole time dilation thing with the black holes.
Yeah, that's a big
Um,
draw for people for this film.
yeah. And so we get back to the ship after we lose Doyle, and they're catching up on all these video messages, and you're like, oh, like you can tell before they even start playing that we're gonna have some emotional scenes here, like because they say what he was gone for, was it 23 years, I think, something like that. It was a big chunk the first time when
Yep.
they come back from the water planet. It
Mm.
was way more years than they were expecting. It was like several decades worth, and you're like, yep, they're gonna have some video logs to catch up on. And
Oh my god.
you get all these with Tom, and then you get the big heartstring puller with Murph there with Jessica Chastain.
Time is so scary,
Yeah,
actually, too. That's an effective part of this movie.
yeah, and I love that all this is real things. Like they had, I can't remember his last name. It's like Dr. Kip something was their science advisor on this. He's like a actual Nobel
Oh, sure.
award-winning
Yep.
scientist guy. Sorry, I didn't describe that well. I sound so dumb.
No, you're good. Yeah.
He's a big
There's a
science
lot in
guy.
this film, man. Yeah.
Does science and stuff. um, Kip Thorne, Dr. Kip Thorne, is the real life guy that they used in reference for a lot of this stuff when they're doing it, and so he helped them work a lot of this to be realistic. And like I love all that this is like an actual scary thing that we could send space rangers out there with Musk's Mars mission or whatever, and well, probably it won't happen with Mars mission, but if we send people further and get into a black hole, like they could come back 1,000 years, and
Oh, that'd be.
we'd be a whole different civilization.
I can't even think about that. Why'd you bring that up?
Like,
you're right, though. Yeah.
it's just crazy stuff happens with time, and like I love time travel, as you know as well.
Oh, I
I'm
do know this. Yeah.
huge time travel nerd.
Yes.
This is actually my number one film on my time travel list.
Really?
Yeah,
This. Okay.
because
Yeah.
I sort them by my movie ranking first, and then like if there's a bunch of sevens, then I sort them by what time travel things. I should sort them just by time travel overall, but it gets a little too confusing. So I do it by rating first, and then it's easier to break down.
Okay, sure. I like your process on that.
But yeah, so Interstellar is my top one. I think I might have only one other 9 movie. I think it's Back to the Future, and Back to the Future was just so straightforward with its time travel.
Yes.
I like the way it does it better with this.
Very fair.
So there's just so many little sci-fi threads, time travel, all this stuff that just gets me here.
Yeah.
And then all the discussions of love and humanity as well.
Yes. I was gonna say too, Matthew McConaughey's like Cooper's eyes in this movie, big takeaway for me. Especially when Matthew McConaughey is crying, like it seems super real.
Yeah,
just
holding his mouth after the
yes, his eyes
Murphs.
just convey so much, and
yeah.
Honestly, I could say next to True Detective season 1, Matthew McConaughey's role there, like this is his best. But I would put True Detective season 1 just slightly above this for sure.
I watched him in Dallas Buyers Club. Have you seen that?
Still haven't seen it, unfortunately.
That
I've heard that one's like really good for him though.
That one I watched recently, and that one he's super good in. That's probably his only one I think that comes close for me. I haven't seen True Detective yet, so that one's very emotional for him.
Pretty sure True Detective would shoot up to number 1 for you.
Yeah.
Like I'm serious. That's just I'm not even over hyping it. Nothing. Like I think a lot of people really decide on that.
Yeah.
So I hope you watch it sometime, even if you don't watch all. Now 4 seasons of True Detective. Just watch the first at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have anything more on the water planet before we move on?
I don't have a lot more.
Oh.
It was kind of a lot of general thoughts because I didn't gravitate towards the story, if that makes sense. And I knew you'd be... Damn it. Should have had something like that. God, that would have been good. But yeah, no, like it was more of those like huge thoughts. Yeah, I'm sorry, because I think the beginning was more successful for me, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I did want to talk about Damon's planet, Dr. Mann. His betrayal, I can't remember how it made me feel the first time through. I feel like I was surprised by it, but I've seen this movie a lot. Even before I chose this as a movie, I'd watched it last month, like actually again.
Really?
So I just love this movie.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I was happy that you picked one of your favorites, even though like I knew it wasn't super exciting for me, but I was just super excited to talk to you about it. Obviously, it's still a positive,
Yeah, I think there's different sides though. Even though you didn't like this, there's a lot of people that do. So I think maybe there's people that dislike it, so they'll
for sure
line with you.
Yeah, maybe you relate to me.
People out there that do.
I think I might be straight out of the crazy house. I don't know if people are gonna agree with me on this, but there's a possibility.
My friend Jared, as we were working out before this, I was chatting that we're gonna do Interstellar, and he actually seemed pretty excited about it. He's also a big sci-fi guy.
Oh no!
So he was telling me different facts about the movie and like stuff I didn't know, and I thought that was really cool because we don't usually talk movies that much.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. So you guys don't. Yeah.
So like the sci-fi stuff like just really hits for that friend group.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, hopefully they don't hate me for this. Sorry, guys. Apologizing in advance.
That's all right.
Yeah. I think
you.
I think the first time I watched it, like, all those years back, like, I think the year that it came out, I want to say that I was super shocked
Mm-hmm.
by Matt Damon's turn. And honestly, now that I'm growing up, like, I shouldn't have been all that surprised because, geez, he's so sinister in The Departed,
Mm-hmm.
actually. And I don't think a lot of people know that Matt Damon can play bad
Yeah,
very well.
you can.
So I should have had like at least maybe a little more inkling, but I didn't because my brain was at the time different,
Yeah,
So but still very good reveal, I think, and like
yeah.
keeping it under.
I agree. I think they did the reveal for this really well. Like, it's not super hammy the way he plays it up with whatever his robot was called
Yes.
being broken, like that hint, the different hints with his data, things being off, yeah, the planet looking super dead when you get there, and you're like, now looking back, you're like, yeah, that doesn't look livable at all, but I don't know science. Maybe it's got something that will make it work terraformable.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
so you're just kind of playing with the movie, and you're trusting people, and these scientists, and she's talking about and Hathaway talks about Dr. Mann and how he's like one of the bravest men out there. And, it just all comes back. And it just feels super believable to me for him as a character. It's not just oh, he's evil now. He's just being a fucker.
Yeah.
um, like you get to the point where he's fighting McConaughey on the little cliff there,
Yep.
and they start bonking helmets, and he's like, there's a 50-50 chance you're going to kill yourself doing that. He's like, those are the best odds I've had in years. And like just Damon's whole dialogue as he's walking away from the suffocating McConaughey there, Cooper. I like all of that so much.
Yes.
Um, where it just shows that Damon's not an evil man. He's just trying to do what's best for humanity. And um,
In the way
I
he thinks.
Yeah, and I think because McConaughey keeps saying he's going home, he's like, well, he's just going to throw away the mission and throw away humanity if he does that. So Damon's doing what he thinks is right. Um, and he's like, don't judge me, Cooper. You weren't tested like I was. Few men ever have been. And like that was one of the lines that really like hit me for Damon too. I like no one's ever been tested like Damon's character was, to be alive for ever many years he was doing tests before had to go into cryo sleep, and probably doing intermittent cryo sleep too, and just keep waking up to find out that no one's come yet. And so you just, I don't know, you get lonely, and like,
Very lonely life. I couldn't
yeah,
imagine. Yep.
I understand it. It's one of those things where you have these grand ideals, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna go save humanity. I'm gonna go be a part of this, a part of saving people, and you feel super heroic doing that. And then Matt Damon comes to this realization at some point. He's like, I never stopped to think that my planet wouldn't be the one. And like all of a sudden, all that heroism just goes down the drain,
Yep.
and all you are is you're just a failed attempt, and you're just sitting out there, and yeah. And like you get Damon when they pull him out of the pod too, and he just starts crying on Cooper's shoulder, and I don't know, I love all that with Damon, even to the point where he, fucks up their spaceship when they get out there, fucks up the endurance, um, and does the locking procedure wrong, and that whole scene is just great for me.
Yes. Yeah. There's plenty of good thrills that come about here and there that like did keep me kind of going, even though that space exploration was going on, that maybe wasn't locking me in.
Mm-hmm.
I I am happy that in this film we get those moments as well. And
Mm-hmm.
that's I love a great turn from a character. So Matt Damon did it phenomenally. Yes.
Yeah,
I agree. All of your sentiments, like, yep, I double for
agree.
sure for that.
On the score again, just want to continue harping how fucking awesome Hans Zimmer is.
Oh, it seems so like
Like,
ethereal and spacey.
yeah,
Yeah.
from the moment that Dr. Mann betrays Cooper to the point where he blows up the ship and it just goes pure silence. Like that whole sequence of score is just
Yep.
perfect. Some of the best in the film, some of the best in film in general. And just like really ramps up the tension with something different, like very piano heavy score from what I remember, and like
Yes.
just really good.
Okay, big question since you're bringing up the score. And since it's Hans Zimmer.
Yeah.
Dune Part 1 and 2 versus Interstellar.
I would have to watch those again. They don't stick in my mind. So I feel like it would probably be Interstellar.
I'd have to go Dune. Yeah.
But I'm not the greatest at memory of score. Like when there's not words to go with it, it
That's
goes out
very
of my head super
yeah,
fast.
understandable. And yeah, I'm not a huge score person. It helps me in my experiences, but I'm not compared to other like film nerds like me, like I can't say that I'm super into score like they are.
Yeah. But Hans Zimmer is a really good fucking composer.
Oh yeah, just legendary. You can't go wrong when you have his scores.
Yeah.
You better thank the heavens above that you got him on your project.
Like pretty much has done all of Nolan's work too
I believe it.
as a composer. Just lose my words, Inception, Dark Knight Rises. So
Mhm.
yeah, so Dr. Mann blows up the ship, and then we get to say goodbye to Anne Hathaway a little bit. And we get to go into the weird bookshelf dimension, which is also just a really cool set piece.
Trippy.
Trippy, very trippy.
Thought
And
I
then
was dropping acid, honestly.
might be a good scene to do it too.
Yeah, true.
You just get the final like this almost feels like the apex of him and Murph's thing too for me. Like him getting to realize that he's the ghost for Murph all along.
Yes.
And he gets to go relive all these scenes that we see in the past. And then he gets to give her the shot to save humanity by fixing the watch, or setting it up to give her all the information there. Can't imagine how long that took to decode from binary into actual scientific data,
No kidding.
or from Morse code. Like that had to be insane.
Oh my gosh. And hey, like going off of that, I love when movies telegraph that stuff from the beginning and you're like, whoa, like, big mind blow. Like, yeah, you could do so many emotes off of that. Like, just, it's just crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just love that. It makes the story more meaningful to me.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I love picking that stuff up. And I think Nolan did it just right.
I agree. I think people could also say that maybe he's repeating the emotional weight of an earlier scene too, by Cooper going back to um, Cooper's goodbye, the other Cooper's goodbye.
Yes.
But like I feel like it just adds such depth to the other side as well of Cooper in the past, not wanting to leave, but he has to save humanity, and then the Cooper in the future that's just begging himself not to leave and begging Murph to make him stay, and it just pulls on your heartstrings, man.
Yep. Oh my gosh. Yep. Almost honestly lost for words with that emotion,
Yeah, like just the acting range from McConaughey is
Yes, the performers
unmatched.
really helped that out.
Yeah,
Yes. Agreed.
don't let him leave, Murph.
Oh my god. Kill me now. Yeah. I
And
agree.
then it's a little bit of a plot convenience, him getting spit back out by the black hole, but you can also brush it away as there are these humans in the future that are orchestrating all this so that they can presumably close their circular loop with time that led them there. So I kind of forgive that he just shows back up at Earth.
At the end of the day, it is a movie and it's Nolan's
Yeah.
imagination, like apart from science a bit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I love that we do finally get the reunion. And then this is where movie kind of loses me a little bit, is with his final,
Yep.
get back with Murph. Like, I feel like there could have been something with the descendants. Like there's like 4 generations more families in there or something, and they all just walk past Cooper, and I'm like, they don't want to say hi to their great 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 grandpa.
Yeah, that good point there. I didn't
Like,
really
he's
clock
127
that.
years old and he looks great. You don't want to say hi to
Yeah, my God, drinking from the fountain of youth. Yeah,
him? It
and it's
would
Matthew McConaughey.
it would probably take away maybe the weight of him seeing Murph instead.
First,
Yeah,
yes, you need that reunion before all these people we have not met before, and
100%.
he hasn't either.
Yeah, but it just felt weird that they were all there to see her, and then they just left without saying hi to him.
For movie's sake, I'm just gonna go. Yep,
Yeah.
I'm all right with it. Yeah,
Um, and yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I don't like the Cooper going back to Brand. I don't feel like
no,
that hit me at all.
no,
Um,
I don't buy their relationship.
yeah, but it was nice to think that, oh hey, there's a whole new human settlement that's going to be starting over there
Yeah,
because they've got all the eggs.
yep,
So
another new beginning.
yeah,
Thankfully, yeah.
and he's bringing Tards with him.
Yes. Oh,
Um,
thank God. They have such a cool relationship. That's awesome.
like I love this
As it
final,
should.
like him putting him back together and fixing Tars, and then
Yeah.
setting up his humor setting, and
It all comes swinging back around. Yeah.
there's every scene with Tars in this movie is amazing.
Heartwarming.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, for sure. I agree. Holy. What a packed movie.
yeah. There's so much here,
Yeah.
and like I feel like you didn't even scratch the surface of it. Like
No, not at all. And like we could have even picked apart the story more and more and more. Yeah, there's just not enough time to do that for this movie because there's a lot of info.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
To
it's not
parse through.
it's not a basic movie where you've got filler scenes or anything like that. Like
Mm-mm.
every scene, you could pull something apart and discuss what it means.
Yes, and like, over the past 10 years, how many times has this movie been picked apart and discussed? So like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's hard to imagine like if we could add any more sustenance to the conversation. But hey, we
yeah.
tried our freaking best here. Yeah,
No,
this was a lot of fun.
like you mentioned, watching or listening to House of Cinema's version. Like, of course, listen to theirs, listen to other people's. You could probably go 3, 4, 5 different podcasts and keep learning new things and hearing new things.
Exactly.
I kept my facts and behind the scenes things short on this one. I
Yep.
usually like to sprinkle a little more in, but
Those have been gone over how many times?
yeah.
Yep.
But I had so many just thoughts on this, and nothing is new. I'm sure everyone's shared my sentiments before, with this movie being at like a 8.9 on IMDb. But uh, yeah, I love this movie a lot. It is the pinnacle of sci-fi, really high up there for time travel concepts. And I think just the emotional weight of the movie holds really dear to me.
Yeah.
So,
That's awesome to hear you say because I don't think I've heard that come out of your mouth ever about a movie. So, hey, all right.
yeah,
Love learning. Love learning more about your your love for movies.
yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think if I don't know if we've covered any nines for me on the pod. Like I know we covered my two tens, but tens are in a weird bracket for me where they're transcendent of movie flaw. I will love them no matter
No
what.
matter what. Yeah, and you'll defend it to the day you die and have no shame about it.
100%.
Hey, I'm with you on a lot of movies that way.
I don't know. We've covered a couple nines. I liked Fight Club, 12 Angry Men, and Train to Busan. They're 3 nines for me. That was their fourth. But it's been a while. All 3 of those were really early movies for our pod. I don't think you were on for any of those.
I wasn't. No.
So,
Yeah. I finally only checked out Train to Busan for the first time like a couple months ago.
yeah. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, loved it.
That's good. That's like high tier zombie fiction for me.
I'm not super into the zombie genre for subgenres of horror, and that one sticks in my mind.
Yeah.
I do really enjoy it.
So you want to do reminds me of, or you have any more final thoughts?
I don't think so. I think we kind of went over it. Yeah, those were kind of just they were more general thoughts, but
Yeah.
I wanted to get them out, and hopefully they made sense to some people, and hopefully to you. And
Yeah.
I loved hearing you go through it, and especially since you're passionate about it,
Still, just shame, shame, shame.
I'm sorry. I know. Okay, hey, reminds me of.
Yeah, what do you got?
So I was gonna say, I mean, obviously, there's a lot of obvious ones for this one,
Yeah.
but I kind of went with Arrival, and I'm
Okay.
only highlighting this one because I really do believe that it's a better, more complete film in my eyes. I'm not trying to slight Interstellar. With saying that, it's just that indescribable thing when it comes to Interstellar versus other sci-fi movies, and why I can't pinpoint some of my feelings towards the whole genre. I think maybe it has to do with Arrival mostly being on Earth and actually standing apart from Interstellar.
Yeah.
In that way, being a sci-fi movie, it like none of it takes place in space, right? Like it's in
No.
a spaceship on
Yeah.
Earth.
Just in the spaceship. Yeah.
Yep. So, and I mean, obviously, there's aliens added to that as well, like these, huge aliens trying to communicate with their language and everything. And there's another element that Interstellar does not have that's just super interesting to me,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But that's kind of all I had because there's obvious
Yeah.
similarities. I don't really need to go over.
I will cover the obvious one here. I agree with the Arrival, by the way, or Arrival, by the way.
And
I think
having to do with time.
Yeah, I think the time travel aspects
There we go.
and some of the it's not father daughter in that, but it's like mother daughter or
Mhm.
mother daughter.
Mother daughter.
Yeah. Stuff is similar in that.
Yep.
Um so I'll cover the other big huge sci-fi movie that came out a year later that also has Matt Damon getting trapped on a various planet with Jessica Chastain also being on a crew to save him. And that's Ridley Scott's The Martian. Weird that there's so many similarities, but yeah, it came out in 2015, just the year after, and like amazing movie. I watched it so many times as a kid growing up. It's more family friendly, I would say. It gets less into the super sci-fi and more on the Matt Damon being he's a good guy in this one, but
Yeah, so different in that way.
yeah, super very. Or you haven't seen this one, have you?
I haven't still. No, I know, guys. I'm sorry. It's been on my watch list. Don't worry.
Well, it's Matt Damon being a super dad, lots of dad jokes.
Oh, perfect.
So it's him being stranded on Mars. They dropped him there, or he was presumed dead. So
Mhm.
they left, and they find out he's alive. So they got to go back to get him. So there's also some moral questions in that of like how much resources and how many people's lives you risk to save one person. But that's a good one. And then I thought of Inception with this one too, which is kind of the mindfucky stuff. One of Nolan's other films.
Yep.
So I think it's
definitely.
a good double watch if you want some follow up after this.
For sure.
Either one of those.
Yeah, that'd definitely be a good double watch.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I had. Just those two to cover.
And now where to watch? Suppose Hulu and
Yeah,
Paramount, like we
Paramount.
mentioned, or you can obviously rent it on Amazon Prime, Apple TV Plus, or anywhere you can rent your movies.
Yeah, it's also on Peacock, I guess, according to IMDb.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
it's really everywhere.
All right, there you go, guys. There's no reason you shouldn't be able to check out this classic that a lot of people, modern classic that a lot of people mention.
8.7 out of 10, 2.3 million ratings.
Pretty positives.
2.3 million people that are more right about movies.
That would fight me. Yep.
So what have you been watching lately?
Really, not a whole lot, honestly. I've been playing a lot of Marvel Rivals recently on my PS5. So, and that's only been because kind of needed a little break from movies. I love them to death, but if I can't give my full attention to them, I don't want to do it, if that makes sense, So I've been kind of keeping my mind distracted with some video games like Marvel Rivals. So the other night before bed, when I was in the movie mood, I did toss on Multiverse of Madness. So I started that one, even though one of my least favorite Marvel movies. I just enjoy seeing Scarlet Witch the way she is in it.
don't know if I've rewatched since my theater watch.
And same. That's why I decided to throw it on. Like maybe I would feel a little different towards stuff. I didn't really, if I could spoil that for you, but
Yeah. I remember liking it a lot. It might have been my 8 or 9 watching it in theaters.
oh
I
my
think
goodness.
I think I
Yeah.
enjoyed it a lot.
Well, see, the people I went with enjoyed it more than I did too. Like Brennan, if you're listening, you definitely did. Yeah. And then I also tossed on Wakanda Forever. So definitely
Okay.
like
Yeah.
I've been away from MCU stuff for quite a while compared to other people, so I'm pretty okay with returning to
Join
it
back in.
right now.
You get
Yeah.
the Black Panther shirt on
Yes,
today.
yes I do. You know it. Yeah. Yeah, I
Love
got
that.
my Black Panther Marvel shirt on. Yep.
Yeah.
I did also rewatch the Moon Knight series. Love it to death still.
Yes.
So
I need to give that a rewatch.
you do. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm looking at my little Moon Knight action figure right now.
Yes. So there's actually some good stuff coming out that I'm excited for that with Thunderbolts.
Oh, yes.
Pumped.
And we will be covering Thunderbolts, guys.
We will.
So be on the lookout for that. First MCU from
will be.
Hazardous Opinions.
Yeah, we talk about the MCU a lot and usually shitting on them, but
Fair. It's covered a lot, so that's
yeah.
why we kind of have stayed a little away.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean there's what, like 3-4 Marvel movies a year still.
Oh my goodness. Thank God they slowed down. Andy, what have you been watching lately?
I've been bouncing back and forth between rewatches and just shitty movies.
Wonderful.
My dad, as he does, just picks random things.
Oh, that's right.
On the TV sometimes, and he, like me, if you get a certain point into the movie, you just have to sit it through. Like I know I can't turn that off. It's like, well, I can't consider this watched unless I finish it, and I want to rate it badly, so I have to finish it.
You're a completionist.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes.
So I'm like, well, if I just turn it off and go away, I can't just be in my blissful world where I have only perfect movies on my letterboxed. So I gotta watch some shit sometimes, just to really integrate yourself into why movies are good.
Yeah, no, fair. And like I said, with bad movies, they keep you honest.
Yeah. So I watched Gulliver's Travels yesterday. Yeah. Nope. I don't really like Jack Black. I'll be honest. And
I love Jack Black though.
I think he's good in the super goofy stuff like Nacho Libre. It's just not in these ones where they try and put any seriousness in it. It's just not good. And then this whole Minecraft movie thing, I'm gonna avoid like the plague.
Yes, me too.
But I did rewatch Aliens on Saturday.
Oh, awesome.
The second one.
Mm-hmm.
Super good. Still love it. So I was
checks out.
I was just quoting it the whole time, and I think my parents were like, "You nerd," like especially Bill Paxton. Like, just, game over, man. I was saying it before it even comes up, and what the hell?
It's so fun. I mean, yeah, you know me with screams. That would have been me.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So I'm just a super nerd about that stuff. But I do have one good one. I checked out 2021 Stowaway. So this is Joe Penna directed. He didn't really do a whole lot of movies, but he did this one called Arctic that I liked, with Mads Mikkelsen, I think it is in that one. But this one's a super small cast. It's Toni Collette, Daniel Day Kim from Lost, and a bunch of other stuff, and then Anna Kendrick. And it's just them getting on board a ship. They're doing a Mars mission, and there's a stowaway that they find, and they don't have enough oxygen for 4 people. So it's just this weird moral conundrum movie. But it's another sci-fi movie, and I ended up enjoying it.
Wow. Okay, that sounds interesting. I've never heard of it.
I think it's on Netflix.
So. Perfect. Okay, I might have to add that onto my watch list then. I'll go to your Letterboxd.
It's not like super up there in the genre or anything. Like, it's not doing anything new. It's mostly the moral conundrum rather than any sci-fi things that are good about it.
Sure. I enjoy moral conundrums.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But, so at least like a solid watch though.
Yeah. It's a solid, good movie. Yeah.
Awesome.
I liked it.
Okay.
But yeah, that's all I have.
That's all we got for what we've been watching lately. So with that, lastly, make sure to follow us on socials on TikTok and Instagram at Hazardous Opinions Pod. Join us on Discord and follow our individual accounts on Letterboxd. All of the links will be in the episode description for you guys. If you want to reach out to us, you can email us at hazardousopinionspod@gmail.com. Also, if we could have you guys follow and rate us wherever you get your listening today, it helps out a ton. Our next episode will be Sell Me Snack Shack, and that will be brought to you by me. And Snack Shack was released last year, and it's one of my favorite movies already, so I cannot wait to try and sell you guys it.
Of course. Yeah, and then that's going to be our second for the month already. So
Yes.
yeah, this April, 2 Aprils, and then hoping to do a new movie and a topic later. So we're very excited for that.
I think we're eyeing the movie Sinners as a new release movie.
Yeah, hopefully it works out with the schedule, but I think it will, and I'm looking forward to covering that one. I like Michael B. Jordan as an actor.
So. Yes, I've been hearing raving things about it so far, so really? I'm excited. Yeah. All right, well, we'll talk to you guys then. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.
See you.